Good morning, Jeepsmen, and welcome to the Greendot 319 channel. How are we all doing today, guys? Well, as you can see, we've managed to get that into the engine stand. So the first question you guys have got to work out then is, how did I get that in the engine stand on my own, not using any lifting apparatus and with nobody's help? Interesting question there. I'll answer that at the end. But guys, what we're doing today then is finishing or trying to get this engine sounding like this. So there's a bit of work before we can get to that point, and we're going to go over just a couple of bits we've got to do. But first things first, I have been offered something which you guys might be interested in. Don't know if it's going to work out yet, but it will involve probably selling that to pay for it. It is another vehicle. You can probably guess the colour of it. Yes, it is olive drab green. We'll see. I don't know, guys. Maybe it'll work out and maybe it won't, but it'll be an interesting project if it does. So before we can start working on this engine and cleaning it up properly, just got to finish off some minor things then, guys. So the first things first is we've got to repair some threaded holes on it. So I've done all the head studs, guys. There's just one round the side here. There's just this one here, which is the coil stud. That needs repairing. Now, you guys will probably know about this, that some clever person one day decided that you need to repair threaded holes, so they created the Helicoil set, and they're Heli good. So let's get this open and have a quick peek at it. It's a really straightforward system, actually. It's really clever. If you haven't seen this before, you just got some threaded inserts, and all you do then is you drill out the hole, which is got the damaged thread in it, then you tap the hole, then you load up a threaded insert onto a tool. You screw it in, you break off a little tang which you use to insert the threaded insert, and then you have a helicoiled, re-threaded hole. So your hole now is the same size as it was previously, but with a stronger thread in it, okay? So these things are really impressive. One thing to mention before we get too involved in this, guys, is that coming on from the last video, we did all the balancing on the crank and things like that, and had the top of this block all skimmed down and things like that. And, you know, you're saying, well, they never did that in World War II. Let's have a look at the top of a Ford GPW block. This is my original Ford GPW block, okay? And that hadn't been, the top hadn't been skimmed down, so you can see the surface finish they left on it, okay? And then if we look at the surface finish that we've left on this, obviously it's a lot smoother and a lot better than what was on the GPW. So you say, well, why bother doing it better than World War II? Well, the thing is, guys, let's think about it, right? Jeeps were cheap in World War II, and they were only made to last about 3 to 6 months before they're either blown up or rebuilt, okay? So them lasting a long time didn't matter, so you didn't really need to make sure the head was completely flat and that the crank was completely balanced. But the thing is, we don't use our Jeeps like they did in World War II. We drive them around at 45 miles an hour on the highway. You know, in between engine builds, we want the engine to last, you know, pretty much up to 30 years with occasional use, guys. Or sometimes some of us drive them all over the place all the time, so they do a lot of use. So really, we're not using them in the same way as well as they did in World War II. So it would make sense really to build them as good as we can, right, and use the modern methods and high standards that we use as well to make the engine last as long as possible. So that's what I'm trying to do on this engine, guys. So some of the stuff may seem like overkill, like balancing the crank, but in the long term I think it'll work out better and it'll make the engine last longer. So that's just to explain that for you. This isn't going to come as a huge shock to you guys, but of course in the terrible garage I cannot find the Helicoil set that I need to do these little studs here, so we'll have to wait on that. But what I will do then, guys, is do a bit of dressing out here then. This is the cast iron weld that we did on the side for the big crack. Obviously there's it's a bit uneven round here. There's some little holes, pinprick holes and things like that. Obviously they don't go all the way through into the cooling jacket, but it's rather ugly. So what we'll do then is we're just going to dress it out with a bit of JB Weld. If you guys look on YouTube and search Project Farm and have a look at his videos on JB Weld, this stuff's amazing, but we're going to use it in a non-structural way here, just purely aesthetic. So if I heat this area up, it'll allow the JB Weld to flow really well. So I'll just mix them up, heat this up, and then lay it on, and then we can just hopefully dress this out and make it look a little bit prettier. Yes, the old JB Weld your engine trick. Purely for aesthetic reasons, guys, but we'll let that dry out and then we can sand that back and try and make it look a little bit prettier, fill some of those little holes in. While the incredible JB Weld fix is going on here, guys, I am going to clean out these oil galleries. You can just see by that bolt head, there's one of them, okay, and then you can see him running down here This is the main oil gallery, okay? Obviously that's all full of gunk and rubbish, so I'm going to use a gun cleaning kit to get in there and just rod it all out, guys. So the main entranceway to it is here, this guy here. So we'll get in there, drive the gun cleaning kit down there and try and clean that bore out. It looks okay actually to me, there's no load of built up rubbish in it, it just seems to be a bit rusty, so we'll just drive that out now then, guys. Just a bit of brake cleaner, and then let's try it, let's see. It's oversized, so let's see how far we can get in. So it screws in alright, let's see if we can get it out. Okay, well that's no good. If you try to take it out, guys, it just unscrews here, and you can't see it, but the end of the rod with the handle on it is free to spin, so you can't just reverse it, I suppose. That's not ideal. Good job we checked it. Right, let's just pull it out. There we go. Well, it came out all right. I think we'll need to go down a size then, because the last thing we want to do is get this stuck inside the oil gallery there. So let's go down a size. Right, guys, I think I can drive it all the way through and then screw it at the other end and then retract it, so I don't need to pull it back, okay? So if I push it all the way through, that should do it. So let's get some magic cleaning juice on there again. I hope this works. Yeah, she goes in all right. Hey, right out the other end. Let's have a look. Yeah, not ideal. I think we'll have to draw it out then, guys, and just pull it back because I can't actually undo it there. Hey, at least it's not stuck inside it. This could be entertaining. Right, let's see how far we get here then. Oh yeah, okay, that's fine. Good, right, okay. So let's chuck it in the magical juice. Let's see. There you go. That's what we're trying to do, guys. You can see all the crud in the bottom there, so we'll run that through a couple of times. Obviously the rest of it's still dirty, it's all full of crud. I'm just doing this as a first clean for this, okay? Yeah, that's good. Great, excellent. Look at that accumulated crud already. So you don't want all those bits inside your oil gallery, okay guys? That's why you've got to clean it out properly. Really, really important. You know we Brits love tea, although I don't think I'm going to be drinking that. Yeah, you can see most of that, guys. There's sediment in the bottom. This is the sort of stuff you want to get out. It's a lot of rust, actually. No big bits of gook or anything like that. It must have all been burnt out, perhaps, when it's been heated up to do that cast iron repair on it, you know. Imagine all that heat getting it red hot, melts out anything which is left in it. But yeah, just getting rust out, but it's important to do. I'll continue with that, guys, and keep on cleaning it out, but that's just a first go at it so far. So far, so good. Yeah, not bad, I reckon, guys. Got the air hose in there and blasted all the bits out. You've got to get right in under everywhere, because you can see there's these bits of webbing in the casting, and I had a load of stuff stuck under there. So only with the air hose was I able to blast it out. If I just cleaned it, you know, not particularly well, all that stuff would have dislodged at some point and released a whole load of swarf into the engine. So that was really good that I found that bit. Just get in there with the air hose and blast everything. Looking pretty good for its first pass, I think, guys. We'll put some oil on it so it doesn't rust, put it back in the garage until we continue working on it. That's got out the most of the crud so far, so pretty pleased with that. So guys, to answer that question at the start then, how did I get this in the stand with nobody else being around? Quite simple, really. I lay the block on the side on a piece of wood and then just lay the crane down next to it and then bolted it in when it's on the floor, and then I used the leverage of it up here to hoik it back up and get it up on its side. So, you know, when you're working on your own, guys, that where there's a will, there's a way. You've got to work these things out. So that's it today, guys. Hope you enjoy that. Keep up to date for this Willys MB engine. We're going to continue working on it and we'll have it running soon. But that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time. Cheers.